So it's midweek and time for another farm update. You can see we've got something outside, the yard's a bit wet, called rain I think it is. Anyway, a few things going on today. Just before I get into that, I just wanted to thank you for your comments after Sunday's update where I announced the restructure. And we'll touch on that again this coming Sunday because I've lots of questions I think, and there's a few more points I need to just clarify what we're doing in the way forward. 95% of the comments are supportive. There's the usual ones that aren't, and they're just not worth bothering with. And but most people are fully supportive and understanding, but have a few queries, so I'll answer those this coming week. I am trying to get back to everybody and recognise every comment, either with just a like or a thumbs up or a comment myself. I think altogether with the comments on YouTube, the text messages, WhatsApps, emails and messages on LinkedIn, I'm probably now up to maybe just over 800 messages on all those various platforms. So I've got quite a lot to get through, but we're getting there. But I'd say I do really appreciate all the comments you've sent me, and some of you are saying that you're going through the same thing. Anyway, I'm not going to do much on that. I'll do more on this on Sunday because I do realise that's where more viewers watch, and I get regular Sunday viewers watch every Sunday. They don't watch the midweek one like this one, so I won't talk about that. But those of you who are watching this, please tune in again on Sunday and I'll give more clarity on a few things regarding the restructure. Anyway, in this update, a few things going on. I've got a few notes here because I'm going to forget. Spraying the sugar beet with a second fungicide, but looking at the heath beet, well, because of the drought, it's really poor, so I'll touch on that in this update. Also, we are spreading some black oats. Now, with the black oats we're putting on is a cover crop as part of our SFI, and Ruben is out there with the weaving drill that you'll see in the Sunday's update, putting the rest of the seed in. And when I can find a seed label, here we go. So Ruben's putting on what we've got here. We've got some oil radish and phacelia going in with the weaving drill. But I've spread the black oats with the Kuhn spreader on the back of the 6215 John Deere. So we've got that in this update as well, looking at that. And I must say it went really well with that John Deere. It went well on there with the GPS and everything else, compared to the fast track that I used to have, where I had the steering wheel motor, if you remember. We're just finishing off soloing the last of the few fields. Tom's just gone out today to do the last ones that we've spread with poultry muck, so you'll see that on Sunday, but we've got a few more solo ones today that have gone well. Subsoiling, we've actually put the Simba flatliner subsoil on and gone across one or two headlands. You'll see that in this update. And unfortunately, I've had more Pirelli tyre problems with my discovery, so we'll look at that as well. And lastly, I visited to Ces van der Haave, which are they Danish? Dutch sugar beet breeder near me. The UK headquarters is right near me, and we've been looking for a tractor to put a weed wiper on these on the beans, but because of the fat end. But the problem we've got is we looked at it, and I'll show you in this update what we're doing regarding that. So that is it for this intro. Thanks ever so much for watching, everybody. Raining up above me now, you can just hear it pattering on the roof, and we'll see you at the end. And for those of you who don't make it to the end, we'll see you as ever 8 a.m. on Sunday morning. Ruben's just sprayed all the sugar beet. I've just got a little clip with the drone, and just this is him. I'll just put that up in a minute. Actually, just wanted to show you this and talk about this sugar beet up here, because you'll be able to see from the drone footage in a minute how poor the crop is from up here. This is on the light land, this particular field. So you get a much better view of what this crop is like from the air, and you can just see all the light patches and the striping and the streaks. It just shows how the crop is really suffering on light land. And lack of moisture, yes, is one thing, but of course with the lack of moisture it means you don't get the nutrients as well. And we're just finishing off spraying here, but this is the second fungicide this has had, this field. It had one earlier in end of July. This is the second one. It would normally get a third, but I think with the crop being like it is and the potential, I don't think it warrants a third one. That would have normally been in a month's time. So I think this will be all it will get. But yeah, not looking forward to the returns of this sugar beet or harvesting it, because I know it's going to be very poor and not very financially lucrative. So a bad year for sugar beet. The leaves all floppy. It's really severely moisture stressed. And this is the problem here. You've got patches, you can just see here all over. This is what sugar beet's like this year on the light land. And July, August, September is when it puts on a lot of root weight, and it's just not doing because of the lack of moisture. It's Tuesday morning, actually Tuesday lunchtime I think, and we've got the Cunero on the 215 John Deere. Those of you who watch these regularly will know that we normally put it on the fast track, but we haven't got that anymore. So we've got it on here, and we're putting the cover crops in, so up on the heath on the light land as part of SFI. So we've got the weaving drill there in the corner that Ruben's going to be using, and putting the mix we've got in from King's Crops or Frontier, it's part, I think it's known as now. The part of Frontier, and we've got some black oats that we combined last year. Some of you might remember where we had the beans, the baked beans, the failing of those in some fields. We kept the black oats growing and so we harvested the oats for cover crops. But the problem was we've got about 50 tons of cover crop seed, but it's only 50% germination, so we're having to put double rate on. So we're going out with this. I'm spreading it on with this, broadcasting it on top of the stubble, and then Ruben's going to come along with the weaving drill to cultivate it in and put in the extra. There's radish and something else is going in with it as well, and then we're going to graze it with sheep this winter. But the problem we've got, there's some loose bits of straw, small bits of straw in the oats, and they've gone and blocked up the bottom of the spreader. And I did keep a check in it for a start. When I started, it was okay, and gradually across the field it must have blocked up. So I think I'm going to have to do the field again, which is unfortunate. But the seed, we've got a lot of this seed that I don't know what I'm going to do with, and we grew it last year when it was the failing of the baked beans. But I'll just show you where it's blocked, and you'll see why, because I'm not really sure where it blocked what part of the field. So we've got the boom folded back, and all this obviously this all folds down, and this is where the rollers are there, you can just see, and that turns the seed out. But it shouldn't all be bunched up like that there. And what's happened, I've taken the cover off there. I've got this cover off here, and that opens up into the rollers. Now you can see there, if I can just fold that plastic back, you can see all this straw here has blocked up this hole, because that's where it drops through, and then it drops into these cups here, and then the fan blows it along the boom. Now if you look, it's blocked, and I don't think the seed's been getting out. It's blocked up with straw. So all that's blocked, so I don't know whether the seed's been getting through or not. It comes out the bottom, the seed does. I'll just set it running and see if this bucket, see if anything's coming out, but I don't think it is. So what the problem is, now I've got it opened up, the straw's coming out the bottom there with the seed and coming up, and it's sticking in the brush. And that's what's blocking it. So I think to take that brush out, which you can, like that, let that, that's it, and then that will all drop there, drop into the cups, and then the little bits of straw, if there's any straw with it, should drop into there because they're small enough, and then the fan blows them down the tubes. So we'll give that a go. You can see the straw, bits of straw being turned out. There's not a lot, but there's enough to cause a problem like that. I've just taken the second one off, and it's a real knuckle cutter as well because of that. I'm doing the thumb screws, but there is all the straw blocking. So if I take, if that will come out, there we go. And then that should, all the straw then should drop through. Sorry, that's better, clean the camera. So all the straw should come out there and drop through into the bottom there where it goes into the cups. But you can see it's been blocked up with the oats that's on that frame. Just got Tom alongside me with the solo. He's just started another field, and he's doing the Headland tram line. It's a bit rough, so that when he goes across it with the solo, it's not bouncing up and down. But really dry and hard still. But we've got rain coming tomorrow, which is Wednesday afternoon. This will get crossed, so when he goes up and down the field, do the stubble there on the other side. This will get done twice, which should be good, and break up the tram line. This really shows well how we work things at a slight angle to the tram lines. Everything's done at a slight angle to keep the fields level and make sure that there's no undulations that make it difficult if you get laid crops. We'll work it slightly one way one year and another way another year. Here it really shows how well, when you turn, the press follows the solo on the back of the tractor really well, and the drawbar length is just right so it doesn't catch. Still really hard conditions. You can see it's taken some pulling, but it is doing a cracking job. We haven't snapped any more axles since lifted those front discs out slightly, but the legs are in around about 10 inches. But you can see there the tines on the front of the press are just doing a little bit as well. But it really is doing a fantastic job. And also, you might be able to see from this photo how short the stubble is. That's one thing we're always very particular to do, that whenever you're combining, think of the next operation, because how you leave the stubble and how you leave the field could have a detrimental effect on the cultivations or even the drill when you come to put the following crop in. You can see here going at a slight angle as well to the previous year's tram lines. But really, it just shows this solo how good it is, being 21 years old. Incredible. It's Wednesday morning and I'm in the cereals event field, one of them, where we had lots of all the smaller exhibitors, and I've got the 215 John Deere here behind me. I will actually, this coming Sunday, just explain a bit more about this tractor, because I know quite a few people are commenting on the after Sunday's update which I put up, which thank you very much for those comments again. Really good, and I'm still working my way through them. Some people have commented about why did I swap the Puma and the JCB Fast Track for this tractor if I knew we were going to be scaling back or going to contractors. Well, I didn't know at the time we were going to be doing that, but it was partly in my mind that if we did, I'll still need a tractor. And I'll explain more about that on Sunday, but as I said the other day, I'm not packing in, and that's why I will need a tractor. We're just changing what we're doing. Anyway, that I'll leave that for now and get onto that on Sunday. But you saw earlier in this clip from yesterday that we've got trouble with the straw blocking the rollers and taking the brushes out. Well, it has completely cured that. I'll show you that. What we're doing here, we're putting on, I'm spreading some black oats on as a cover crop, then mixing it with the radishes and one or two other bits. I think I did tell you earlier on, it was yesterday when I recorded that bit. So looking here, you can just see, lift these plastics up, look at that, clean as a pin in there now compared to what it was, because the brushes aren't in, so everything's dropping in those cups just in there, and then the wind, the fan that's in here is blowing it all down the tubes, and you'll be able to see, I can see from the cab little bits of straw coming out these outlets, so it's worked a treat by taking the brushes out. So what we're going to be doing, so I'm broadcasting these black oats on top, and it is really hard on this soil surface, but then we're going to put the weaving drill on the back of this tractor and then put in the other plant species, and the drill will mix in the black oats. But it is really hard here at the minute, and we're just going to wait. It does talk of a bit of rain. Now whether we get that or not, I'm not sure, but we're going to wait for the rain to hopefully soften it and then drill it. So we'll just see whether that works out or not. So you can see now, looking across the site here, some of you remember what it was like. This was where all the smaller exhibitors were on the 11th and 12th of June. We sprayed the grass off, and it's just like concrete. You can see there, looking at this here, just absolutely solid. So yeah, we're going to wait hopefully for the rain to soften that, but we might be waiting more than what I think we need to. If with my experience with cover crops, once you get to end of August, it's really nearly too late to put them in. I've just come out to jump in my Discovery and spotted something that looks a little bit low. tyre. So look at that. Maybe it doesn't show it very much on the camera. So that's one of those Pirellis, so I'm going to be swapping these sooner than I thought. So the one I've got that I brought back the other day from Tanvix is there, so that's the one that's going to be going on, I think. So one other job we're doing now, just to get the fields finally ready for planting with wheat, is to pull up the headlands, because some of the headlands, particularly the ends of the fields, so those non-farmers who watch this, the headlands is the perimeter of the field, what gets all the hammer, so it gets all the machinery turning on, and it's those areas predominantly that we have compaction problems, and it stands in water. And so we have soloed them, and the legs of the solo that you've seen over the last week or two have been in around about 10 inches deep. But that has moved some of it, but still between the legs it hasn't moved them. So we've got Tom in the background here. We've got the Simba, what's it called, flatliner, so the subsoiler on with 5 legs, and we're operating that about 14 to 15 inches deep, and that really is loosening it. So we'll just have a look at that, but we're just doing the ends of the fields and odd tram lines and things like that. We just are toying with the idea, because obviously this next year, whoever we decide to go with won't be on 32 metre sprayers. It's either going to be 36 predominantly, that's the most common size. Our tram lines are in the wrong place, or in a different place, so we're just wondering whether we need to subsoil the tram lines rather, but I think we'll maybe won't. We'll see how we go on. So we'll just have a quick look at Tom here before he gets to the end and before he turns around. See there how it's heaving it up, loosening it. As soon as he lifts it out, what the legs are like, some nice wings on the bottom. We will just culture press these ends, I think, just to break these lumps up. Nala. That's the roller, we made that ourselves. It's made out of heavy duty van tyres with some round nodules on to make it grip on light land. I think it just wants the top link cocking back a bit. You can see here it has just lifted a few lumps out, but we'll knock those down with the culture press. It'll be fine. It's done more good bringing it up and bringing the removing the compaction. And in the field it's in good form where it hasn't been compacted on the headlands. Just see here, that's from the culti press on the back. Tom just has brought up a breed up there, because of course when he's at one end of the field he has to get to the other end of the field, so he's brought it up a tram line, and that's what it's like when it's been lifted and loosened. Nala's obviously thinking she can do her bit with the culti press, or compared to the culti press. So this field's really good form of this end. It's a bit lighter soil, but it's left it perfect conditions, so it'll stand the good rain. You can see here how lumps have broken in half there, so the weather will get in here, get in there as well, all around there, and it just stands. That's probably about the biggest lump. There's a wormhole there. So this is nice and level, stubble mixed up, perfect conditions to leave now and drill, probably, because this is going to be second wheat, early October. That dog is nuts sometimes. So here we are back again to replace this one.
You all right?
I'm fine, thank you. Are you? You're not putting that on my truck, are you? There we go. So that's then the last of the Pirellis, and then underneath as a spare we've got a grabber, which will be going on the next time. And that's what I put on the front here only about 10 days ago. Got back from Tanvix at Newark just to happen with my Discovery tyre, and we've got Dan here repairing the Solo. So it's all Tanvix today. So it's got a big tube in it. Where's the hole, Dan? Can you see it? No,
right
all there. And just see under my thing there, that's where the hole is. So just got this off. A lot of weight on here. So they're going to put a patch on there. So that's just showing you a bit again with Tanvix how good they are. Doing my vehicle first thing this morning, and also the Solo tyre. Anyway, I'm just coming up to the A17 and it's clear now. That's the end of this update, this midweek update. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget, Sunday I will come back with a bit more about the restructuring of the farm and just answer some of the questions about the whys and the whats and the ifs and why haven't we done this and why haven't we done that and various things like that. So thanks everybody again for your comments, really appreciate it, and look forward to seeing all of you Sunday morning. So until then, take care.